Night didn't fall that evening. It seeped in. Alex noticed it first in the silence. Not the peaceful kind, but something heavier, like the world itself was holding its breath. The city outside his window, usually alive with distant engines and flickering lights, seemed dimmed, muted, as if something unseen had pressed its hand over reality and told it to be still. That was the night he found the manuscript. It wasn't supposed to be there. Buried beneath a stack of old books he didn't remember buying, wrapped in a brittle yellowed cloth that smelled faintly of iron and rot. The pages inside were handwritten, ink faded but restless, like it had never fully dried. Symbols crawled across the margins, shifting when he tried to focus on them. At the center of the first page, a single line. It does not begin when you read. It begins when it notices you. Alex laughed. At first. A nervous reflex. The kind you give to something you don't understand, just to convince yourself you're still in control. But the sound died quickly in his throat, swallowed by the same suffocating silence that had crept into his apartment. Then he heard it. A whisper. Not from outside, not from behind him, from somewhere closer. Alex. He turned sharply. Nothing. Just the dim outline of his room, shadows stretching too far across the walls. He told himself it was stress, lack of sleep, too many nights alone, too much noise inside his own head. But the manuscript, it pulsed. Not physically, not in a way he could see, but he felt it. A slow, deliberate awareness, like something deep within the pages had just opened its eyes. The next few days unraveled. Time stopped behaving, hours slipped through his fingers like water, entire chunks of memory missing. He would find himself standing in different parts of his apartment with no recollection of how he got there. The mirrors were worse. At first it was subtle, a delay, his reflection moving just a fraction of a second too late. Then it began to smile when he didn't. By the third night, it stopped pretending to be him at all. Alex stopped sleeping. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw it. A vast, shapeless darkness filled with whispering voices layered on top of each other, speaking in a language that felt older than sound itself, and beneath it all, a presence. Watching, learning, waiting. He tried to get rid of the manuscript. He burned it, or at least he thought he did. The flames had barely touched the edges of the pages before they turned black, not with ash, but with something deeper, something that swallowed the fire itself. The room grew cold, the light bent, and the whispers, they laughed. The next morning, the manuscript was back on his table, untouched, waiting. That's when Alex understood. This wasn't something he had found. It had found him. The curse wasn't written in the pages. The pages were just the doorway, and he had already stepped through. His thoughts began to fracture, splintering under the weight of something that no longer fit inside his mind. Words, twisted memories, rewrote themselves. Faces of people he knew blurred into something unrecognizable. And the voice, it was always there now. Closer, clearer, not calling his name anymore, speaking through him. On the final night, though time had lost all meaning by then, Alex stood in front of the mirror one last time. But it wasn't a reflection anymore. It was a window. On the other side, something vast and endless stared back, a shape that couldn't exist, folding in on itself, made of shadows and absence and impossible geometry. And in its center, Alex, or what used to be him, smiling. The voice spoke, not from the room, not from the mirror, but from everywhere at once. "You see now." Alex's lips moved, but he didn't choose the words. I was never reading it. A pause. The smile widened. It was reading me. The lights went out, the silence returned, and somewhere, far beyond what we call reality, something ancient turned its attention to the next name.